You are a very small, minuscule, cosmic accident. How does that feel, guys? Good?
Good night, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Daddy loves you.
Yeah. Can we read a book? Yes, my little cosmic accident.
Oh, gosh. Give me a break.
Oh my
Is
gosh.
your life worth any more than that? If you don't know the answer to that question, you might really need to hear the 2019 word of the day, word of the year, which is existential.
Welcome to Behind the Mic, the deep dive behind Radio Theology. Here are your hosts, Darren Earlywine, Lisa Graff, and Ryan Allward.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic, the spiritual deep dive episode of Radio Theology for the week of December 8th. I am your host, Pastor Darren Earlywine, here with Ryan and Lisa. And guys, man, oh man, we've stumbled right into the deep end of the pool on this show.
We have.
Wow.
We did.
I was driving around this week and stumbled upon the report that said that the word of the year for 2019, existential.
Yeah. Okay.
In my
Big word.
brain,
It's a big word.
It's a big word. It's a
Has
good word.
an X in there.
Yeah, I like words with X's.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And my brain said, you know what that word means. But then, the other part of my brain was like, but do you? So I pull it up, and I realize, that was probably the ploy of dictionary.com or whatever. Of let's drive some traffic by coming up with the word everybody has to go
look up.
Absolutely.
So I did.
Yeah.
Kudos to them. Lisa, what did I find when I looked up the word?
Existential means concerned with the nature of human existence as determined by the individual's freely made choices.
Okay. What's one of the, go for deeper. Is there another couple definitions there with it, or just one?
There is also of relating to existence.
Okay.
And their example is, does climate change pose an existential threat to humanity?
Ah, okay.
So it's basically our understanding or concept of our existence.
Right.
Being.
Yes.
Being, yeah.
And we talked about this because I do think that we're in an existential crisis right now. And I think we quoted, Joe Biden, said something about Donald Trump being what was it?
An existential threat to America.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure if Trump is or not, but one of the things we talked about in the show is, Ryan, you nerded out and jumped back in and found the word of the year for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it immediately had me intrigued. I was like, I wonder what the progression of these words of the year have been.
Yeah.
So in 2012, it was hashtag.
Okay, so right there, we're trying to figure out how to interact on social media.
Yep.
How do we say things in a quirky way?
Yep.
Okay.
2013 was selfie.
Okay. So now we're self-focused. Now it's all about us taking pictures and adding said hashtags to them.
Yes.
To prove our existential reality by the pictures we post and the hashtags we place under ourselves.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
2014 was vape.
Oh, well.
All right.
Okay.
Instead of being on social media and taking pictures of ourselves, we went outside and vaped.
Yeah.
Or inside the school bathroom. 2015 was they, basically referring to the gender-neutral singular pronoun, they. It was 2015. That was a big word that year. 2016 was post-truth.
I think it would almost have been interesting if I think it still continues, because I think what happens is we have a year talking about they, and then we get confused as human beings of, well, what is truth? If I have male genitalia, does it mean that I'm a man, or am I a they? I need some truth here.
Yeah.
So then we have a word of the year of post-truth.
Post-truth. 2017 was an interesting one, Youthquake.
Yeah, I just looked that up because
What'd you find?
It's a significant cultural, political, or social change arising from the actions or influence of young people.
I think the Marjorie Stoneman, I think I'm getting the name of that school in Florida where the school shooting was, there was a big youthquake that came from that. A lot of the students basically rallied, and there was this big activist push.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it was 2017. Could be wrong on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was that year. 2018 was misinformation.
Probably finds its origin in Trump.
Fake news.
Yeah,
and
right. People trying to figure all of those angles out.
Yeah. Misinformation. And then 2019 has led us to existential.
So what, you follow the bouncing ball in your brain, Ryan, where's it go?
I think 2020 becomes, it's kind of a big word, nihilist, where nothing matters. Nothing has purpose. Everything is self-absorbed. Whatever you want to make anything is what it is.
So when you look back, as you follow those 5 years, what do you see? What do you see trend?
Oh, I see just like self-absorption into disillusion, into confusion, into floundering for anything real.
Yeah, I agree. Like we had talked about, and I don't think it made the show, but we had talked about what would it look like if the past 5 words were purpose, compassion, generosity, love, forgiveness. Like fill those words in, because this is a snapshot of what is happening culturally to our lives.
Yeah.
We are descending into, like you're saying, an nihilistic, yeah. Where we don't even know. We don't know our sexuality. We don't know why we exist. We don't know what matters. We don't know what truth is. Like massive confusion.
Yeah, nihilism is basically the belief that life is completely meaningless. There is no meaning.
And what we talked about a little on the show, this is where we kind of got to the deep end of the pool, is this is where you have to stop and look at what your actual worldview is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we talked about that the Instagram post that you stumbled across, Ryan, that was like, you're a huge cosmic accident. Right?
Yeah, I loved looking at the stars as a kid. So 38-year-old me with Instagram will follow like these astronomy channels because I like looking at pictures of space and stuff because I'm a nerd. And like not even the caption, but on the photo, it was like 2 planets colliding. And it was like, you are a cosmic accident. And it had an exclamation point at the end of it. And it was basically like your 14 billion years worth of work over time of molecules colliding accidentally in a random, if this asteroid didn't hit Earth at the right time, you wouldn't be here kind of concept. And it was like, enjoy your day. And I'm like, why is this if I'm an accident, why is the concept of enjoyment even pertinent?
Yeah.
What is enjoyment if I'm just an accident? Why where does this concept of should or ought come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're in the deep end of the pool and I love it.
Yeah.
I know that if this is your first time listening to the podcast, please go and subscribe and listen to other past episodes where it's a little bit more lighthearted and fun. Maybe the shallow end of the pool. But I don't know why we got on this today so much, but it's been a really interesting
looking
conversation.
At this is the word of the year.
Yeah.
That means that you or folks like you were searching this word this year, that it fits where we're at.
Right.
That we're trying to figure out why do we exist? What is meaning?
Yeah.
And to have meaning, like to have a moral meaning code to life, Rabbi Zacharias says, to have a moral code, you have to have a moral code giver. There has to be somewhere where it originates. If it's all accidental, like you're saying, cosmic mistake, or randomness, you can't smuggle in meaning and purpose into that because there is none.
Yeah.
So morality, something we've made up. It doesn't actually exist. There is no objective of morality because we're all accidentally here.
Yeah.
So there is no better or worse or whatever. The issue is, I think, we're living in a worldview where if we're going to say, yeah, it's all relative and it doesn't matter and we're all an accident. And then what we're trying to handle is our souls, I think, scream out from within us, that's not true. But when we don't have a connection to what is my soul, who created my soul, what is the character and structure behind that, we don't know what to do with it. And so we find ourselves in an existential crisis of, I have feelings and emotions and things in me that say this is right or wrong, but I don't have a worldview that allows me to actually believe that. So now I have no underpinning, no foundational underpinning to make life make any sense.
Well, I love Rabbi Zacharias too. Doesn't he talk about like the 4 big questions of any world religion is origin, morality, destiny, and
another one.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Anyway, but it's like, who am I? Why am I here? How did all this happen?
Yeah.
And where is it going? Essentially is what I think he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is how your brain functions. That's how your soul functions. Whether you know it or not, those are the soul themes and urges and feelings and things, stirrings that happen within you. And if you're in a place right now where your worldview is inconsistent, that's that whole post-truth, that was the word a couple years ago. is now we're in a place in our culture where it's like, well, there is no truth. I just make it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's this inconsistency, but it's just what it is. Maybe it'll be different later.
Meaning was the fourth one.
There you go.
Origin, meaning, morality, and destiny.
Yeah. You have to have answers for those. And if you don't, then you have an inconsistent worldview. The kind of crazy part now is that you can get somebody to go, yes, my worldview is absolutely inconsistent, and then go, and it doesn't really matter. But it totally does matter. And I think the discord, the depression, the anxiety, the spinning out that we're seeing in our culture comes from the fact that we don't have a place that our soul rests in what is actually true.
Yeah, that's like the sad case is when someone's like, okay, great, I realize that my worldview is skewed to not be able to answer any of those, or that I realize that those are totally flimsy foundations to live my life from, but I'm just going to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to spend, we talked about, hours and hours on Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram. I'm going to spend 78,000 hours of my life watching TV.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to personalize this a little bit and probably cry. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
I feel like I wouldn't call it existential because I don't use that word. I would say I've been in a kind of identity crisis lately.
Yeah.
Just walking through some stuff. And I mean, when you really stop to think and look back at your life and rediscover some really painful or great things from your childhood and all of that, I know all of that. I know where my soul rests. You could know all the answers and still have the crisis. Mm-hmm. And so as someone who's walking through the crisis right now, the encouragement that I would bring is I'm about to really go deep into this crisis. Not into the crisis, but into seeking answers and healing from the crisis. And I cannot imagine doing that without inviting Jesus into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how people do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So if you're listening and you're thinking, I don't know anything, try just inviting Jesus into it. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I don't even know what that looks like except for to say, my plan is to hole myself up in my basement for a few days and sit there and ask Jesus to come sit with me. Make him show me how real he is. Tell me the truth about who I am and heal. And so it's going to be really hard work, but I don't want to be part of this existential crisis culture.
Right.
I want to feel so rested and assured in who I am. And I know it's work worth doing. So if you're like, oh, all this is too deep for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It can be scary and can be hard and can be so, so good at the same time.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Lisa. I really am. I appreciate you sharing it with us because, and I don't want somebody to hear us saying that we're saying that if you have a proper worldview and stuff, problems don't happen, or you're not going to have those struggles.
No.
They're going to happen. Life is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
It's like you said though, when you go to it and I agree. I can't imagine it, and it is Jesus, but beyond that, it's not just Jesus. It's the peace that comes from you being able to say it's Jesus is based on an entire faith narrative, and worldview that you have. And we try on the radio show each week to boil it down to 3 super duper digestible thoughts, which is that God is for you, not against you. So we're believing that Jesus is the Son of God that came to earth to show us his love. And it's through the life of Jesus that we see proof, absolute, tangible proof that God is for you. Mm-hmm. This God would not do these things if he were not for you. Right. So there's a thought that brings into that I can invite him to my basement to spend time with me because he is actually for me. He has my best interest at heart. He loves me, right? Mm-hmm. That he's actually near me, not far away from me. That it's not some cosmic thing where he's out doing other things and doesn't know. He is present and near my situation. That we believe that his actually Holy Spirit can interact with our spirits as human beings and guide us through that. And the last thing we always say every single week is that this God has made you on purpose and for purpose, meaning that there is actually a destination that makes going through the trial worth it. I'm getting deeper into uncovering true purpose in my life. And the cool part is that part of my purpose may actually be God taking some of this pain and some of this identity crisis and using it as passion to walk with someone else.
Yeah.
Like there will be purpose and meaning through the suffering.
Yeah. for
If you have
sure.
none of that,
Right.
you have, I don't matter. I'm an accident. So are you. I feel weird. I feel bad. I don't know where to turn for this.
Yep.
I don't know that it matters anyway. So I'll construct some things to maybe sort of, no, probably not.
Yeah.
Like-
It's not, in that worldview, tragedy isn't even a tragedy. A calamity isn't a calamity. Like a bad day, where do you get bad from? How do you know it's not just something that's happening? Why do you assign good or bad to it if life is meaningless, purposeless, without any real objective?
See, we say things
Truth.
like that in college campuses, and when we maybe talk about this, if you ever talk about something this deep,
Yeah.
but our emotions and our reactions to life
Yeah.
betray that thought
Totally.
all day long.
100%.
I think the struggle for a lot of people is to go from, okay, I'll give it to you. My emotions and my reactions betray that I think it's all random, but I'm not gonna come to your side of the tracks and say I'm gonna construct that this God is some little this that's fit into your little Western American
Right.
religious box, which is really jacked up often. Let me say that.
Sure.
Like I don't think God fits in the little terrible religious North American Western image of God we've created.
Yeah.
Right? We've created him in our own image, which is backwards.
Yeah.
We need to go on that conversation today. But we're not going to fix it today. We've got 20 minutes with you or something, right? We're just asking you to maybe get curious and lean into it.
Yeah.
Because we've discovered it to be true.
Yeah.
And maybe you haven't yet. And that's okay. Just keep taking steps.
Yep.
And I think there's a quote by Dallas Willard that I loved, and it may sound like spaghetti noodles for a minute when I say it, but think about it, is what Dallas Willard, he was a religion professor at USC and an amazing author, amazing theologian. Some of his books have absolutely changed my life. But in encouraging us to embrace this journey into existential understandings in life and identity and everything, he said, believe your beliefs and doubt your doubts, and doubt your beliefs and believe your doubts. I think I said it right.
Yeah.
Basically, like, don't be afraid of this. Like, believe what you believe and doubt what you doubt, but also start to doubt what you believe. And sometimes start to believe what you doubt. Like, embrace the journey. When Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and life, we see that so much, I think, as like a final destination. Like, this is the thing, check it off. It's, circle and see on the answer, get it right.
Yeah.
I think what he was saying is, hey, there is truth, and this is a journey we're going to walk this way, and you need to work in the tension to figure that out. But it's a journey, and it sounds like we as Americans, or we as the world right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are feeling it.
I was just thinking when, after 9/11 happened, gosh, how many years ago was that now? 18 years ago?
Yeah.
If you're listening to this in
18
2019,
years,
yeah, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Gosh, some people weren't even alive when that happened. But the Bible sales skyrocketed, like skyrocketed after that national tragedy. And I think it's, and often when tragedy or calamity or natural disaster or even just personal disaster, can strike in our lives, we often want to say, why did this happen? Or why, if God exists, would he allow this to happen? But rarely do we look at how can I help someone else in this? It's so often we want to either throw our hands up at God and be like, the funny thing about atheism is that you are convinced that God does not exist, and you are so, I don't want to say all atheists are angry, but I'm saying like angry at him for not existing. You're so spun up on something that you claim does not exist. It's like, why are you wasting all that emotional energy in anger and rage and ridicule and mockery and spite and all those things? Like, why are you doing that? Like, why don't we look at, we posit on this show all the time that God is a loving God. He's a living God. He's created you on purpose and for a purpose. Like, he's for you, not against you. He's with you, and it's like, to me, it takes so much more faith to believe that God is not real, or that God is dead, or to quote Nietzsche, God is dead and we've killed him. It's like, I don't know, man. It's so much more of a faith, of like literally a leap of faith for me to get my head around that this all just accidentally happened and that we're having this conversation. And
well, you would never, you don't accept that leap of faith in anything except for the creation evolution thing.
right.
Like if I said, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I've got this iPhone watch, and I go through the list of all the amazing things that this iPhone watch can do, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like you guys, well, maybe you remember, Ryan, but Lisa, you're probably older. Did you guys watch Knight Rider?
No.
Okay.
I was aware of its existence.
Okay. I love
with
Knight Rider.
Kit?
With
Oh,
Kit,
yes.
right?
Okay, I've seen
David
Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Oh,
right,
yes.
So
Yeah.
he had a watch that he would talk to and talk to his car.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the most amazing thing. I thought there's no way that could ever exist.
Is it a Corvette?
No, it was
Like
a
a Trans Am?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I have this. Sorry, there's the shallow end of our pool.
Yeah.
If I took this iPhone watch and I completely disassembled everything about it, literally every component of it was separated, and I put it in a box, and I told you, hey, we're going to put this box in your garage, come back and get it in 6 million years. It'll be a watch. You'd be like, no, if we take all these pieces and we put it in a box,
Yeah.
adding time does not make the design work.
Right.
And that's, I think, sometimes where we've accepted, like, oh, well, it just, we had all the things, and then 6 billion years, and then we cared about when people die. It made sense.
Suddenly.
Suddenly.
Fish have become philosophers.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's not, I can't believe we're going to get this conversation. I'm not saying there's not a process of microevolution. I believe there is.
Sure.
There's no proven case of anything of macroevolution. You can Google that and figure out what we're talking about. But this like, we extend so much faith to that we don't extend to God. That we'd go, I wouldn't extend the faith that my iPhone could be, my Apple Watch could become a watch if you put all the elements together and came back in 6 billion years.
Yeah.
Like, that's not faith. That's ludicrous.
Yeah.
But you could go, well, it was all accidental and it happened, and you're just a cosmic accident. And how come? Well, 6 billion years. Oh, okay, cool. Like, I'll accept that. But I don't accept that leap of faith in anything else in my life. But I think we're so afraid to trust or to try to take the leap of faith with God. And here's why. I think because nothing is lost to me in the Apple Watch illustration.
Sure.
But here's what's lost, and here's what the core of this existence is. What's lost in my process of taking that leap of faith towards God is me ending this process and discovering this. This is it. There's a God, and I'm not him.
Ooh. Yeah.
The essence of every one of our struggles comes back to the desire that I want to be my own God. I want to do things the way I want to do them. I want to make my life the way I want to make it. I don't want to have to trust or depend on anybody else but me. If you go through the temptations that came to Adam and Eve, the temptations that came to Jesus, the core temptation is to believe that there is a God and you're it. So I don't really care how the planets got here and what happened. I can extend whatever faith to whatever science tells me. And I guess it's an accident and whatever. What are we doing tomorrow? But to extend that kind of faith, the journey of goes, I might actually find that there is a God. I'm not him. And so now we have a conversation to happen, right? Of where do I fit in to your world you created? How do you relate to me? How does this function within it? The good news is the God that created everything in a more cosmic, amazing, miracle, crazy way that we don't even figure out. Or the thing I love as science keeps figuring out how stuff was created.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they say how stuff accidentally happened. I go, no, you're just figuring out the process in which God made that happen, however many years it took him to do it. I don't care. I just know that it was caused.
Yeah.
There's a complexity of design here that we have to take into account. But I just lost my thought because we're too deep now. I've just drowned in the pool.
Oh, no.
Somebody throw me an inner tube.
You were going into, I can't remember either.
The fact is, I got it. Is that you come into the God that created that, and what I love about it is being able to understand and get to know his character.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to help you get in tune with on this show, to get to know who he is. And as you get to know who he is and how amazing and creative and everything that God is, to me, it's mind-blowing to get to the point to believe that the God who caused and created and designed all this, he does actually know my name.
Yeah.
And he actually cares. And he'll actually meet me in my basement as I'm working through stuff that happened in my childhood.
Yep.
That he allowed to happen because there's free will, and I might be mad at him for that, or whatever the pain, the things that we have to figure out, is we can walk through that together, and he's so close and so near and so loving that he can redeem the pain, he can actually transform it, and he can invite us into joining him, to partner up with him to bring that kind of faith and hope and love and transformation to other people. And those are the moments where I think we experience the sweetness of life and the things that our souls long for. And when we see the absolute polar opposite happen in our existence in this world, our souls cry out, this shouldn't be. Something's wrong.
And are we listening to that?
Yeah. Listen, we're going to have to cut this episode short because it's too deep. It's too deep. We got to go eat some Arby's or something. Listen, this may have sparked some questions. You may absolutely, vehemently disagree with us. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
We'd love some feedback from you. You can always post on radiotheology.com, or you can email us personally. We'd love to hear from you. It's Darren, Ryan, or Lisa at blackbirdmission.com. We'd love to interact with you more and know what's going on in your life, the questions you have, if you'd like us to talk about a topic more. And please reach out to us and do that. And if you are at a place where you're going, you know what, I do need to discover my purpose. I am in an existential crisis. I need to know who God's created me to be. We want you to jump into our Spiritual DNA online course. I can tag and speak for Lisa real quick. I think one of the things, Lisa, that's given you the courage to go through what you're going through now is the fact for the past couple of years you've been so digging into who God's created you to be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so I want to encourage you to do that. spiritualdna.me. You can buy the course. It's an online course. You can take it. We have a group, a mastermind group online. You can be a part of that and ask questions and get feedback. But go check it out, spiritualdna.me. If you're at a place where you're ready to discover who God's created you to be and maybe walk out of this existential crisis into the future that God has on his heart and his mind for you. So, we love you. Thanks for listening again. We'd love to hear from you. This has been Behind the Mic for December 8th, part of Radio Theology, your weekly dose of faith, hope, love, and music.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Mic. For more episodes, go to radiotheology.com.